Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Also, thank you, moderators. Let's see. Adrian Burrow is here first. Thank you very much. Cynthia, hello. I hope you're well. Let's see who else is here. Carol Lunn, Lydia Washington, Emma D. Oh, by the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Also, and thank you, moderators, because someone was trying to make some excuses for the tackiest woman in all of the United Kingdom. And of course, I am speaking of Camilla. Um, they had wrote something in the comment. Well, and for a lady her age, and man, and they were like, block. they they blocked that person right out of the comment. I'm like, thank you. You understand me, don't you? Um, so thank you very much for that. Um, well, we don't want to hear all that stuff. Camilla is tacky and devious, and dare I say, lacking in decorum. I shared quite a few examples yesterday of why you have to seize the moment, right? And indeed, uh, when it comes to powerful women, and I would say that Brigitte Macron is quite powerful in her own right, you have to go with the flow. Yes, just pretend like you're a dead fish. Go with the flow instead of making it all about yourself or all about these antiquated rules and such. There's no place for that. So here we go. The wives of French President Emmanuel Macron and King Charles share an awkward moment while visiting the D Day Memorial in Normandy on Thursday. After laying wreaths at the base of the monument to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the landing, Brigitte Macron could be seen reaching for Camilla's gnarly, liver spotted, nicotine stained hands. Uh, as they both backed away from the memorial that reached I'm sorry, that reach constitutes a breach of okay, that reach gosh, I'm having trouble with this. That reach constitutes a breach of royal protocol. I am still triggered by this. You know that, don't you? I am still triggered. The appropriate norm is to wait until the royal. Listen, let me tell you something. In this instance, Brigitte is not a subject of Charles, right? And she's certainly not a servant. The appropriate norm is to wait until the royal initiates contact. Although Camilla kept her hands firmly, she looked like something out of Madame Tussauds. Although Camilla kept her hands firmly at her side, clearly not initiating contact with Macron, the wife of the French president insisted grabbing Camilla's hand in what was likely intended to show unity. Likely intended to show unity? What other reason? Who wrote this? Camilla then resisted keeping her arms glued, super glued up. Uh, what do they call that? Epoxied. Anyway, to her sides as Macron finally got the message that this old hag, the two of them then awkwardly stood side by side with their heads bowed, not touching, to observe a moment of silence and respect for the veterans. Good grief. I can't stand that woman. She gives me gas. Cynthia, dang, there I go again, forgetting to push the like button. Cynthia, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. And don't you worry about that at all. I appreciate the thought, though. I really do. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. And H Night said, "Oh, happy Saturday or Sunday, everyone." Well, it's still Friday for me. So happy Friday or Saturday. And well, in advance of happy Sunday, everyone. But anyway, thank you for 25 months membership. Greatly appreciate that. Where was I? I was triggered. That's where I was. I was still triggered. Um, trigger. Wasn't that a horse? Wasn't there a horse named Trigger? I think so. Well, now I see why this all kind of goes together. Okay. Oh, Vanzola, are you having internet trouble? I'm so sorry to hear that. The internet is to us today what the phone was back in the old days. It is such an essential part of every day. It makes you wonder, how did we get along without it? Okay. I hear Church Nellie is doing well. I'm glad to hear that. That she was actually on one of the chats today. Is that right? Big Mama's in the house. Hey, Big Mama. Hello, Lady Rose. Queen Maggie. Well, happy birthday, my Queen Maggie. Well, happy birthday, Queen Maggie. And many happy returns of the day. Oh, there we go. Thank you, family, for the greetings. I think we could do better than that. I think we could do better than that. As always, let me see here. Okay. Yeah, we'll have a little workout. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Nellie's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I. All right. Happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. Okay. Now, where was I? Tacky is as Tacky does. Camilla is only 6 years older than, um, let me see, than MME. Is that Madam? Anyway, Macron. And looks like Madam's mom. uh, looks like looks like Madam's mom. Madame Macron is one of the best dressed women I've ever seen. She's well educated, intelligent, and warm hearted, just like Duchess Meghan and First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden. The Queen Consort can't stand women like these. By the way, Rottweilers are one of my favorite doggies. Though it's funny that Princess Diana compared them to Queen Camilla. I feel I'm sorry, Queen Consort. Thank you for remembering Queen Consort, Camilla. I feel very sorry for the doggies. Well, that was a comment that somebody made today. So I don't know if they're watching, but just for you, we are going to remind everyone. Uh, we are going to remind everyone how Diana felt about the current queen consort. Yeah, we're gonna remind everyone how Diana felt about that that that. Okay, let me stop. I don't want to. I don't want to say anything too bad. But where are we? Is this one it? Okay. Nope. There we go. Perfect. Be Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is my own feelings being expressed the only way I know how. So it couldn't have been composed for a worse person. Let's see. Lydia says, "Glad to have you with us, Church Nelly. Love you." Oh, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much. And yes, Lydia Washington, I'm sure you speak for everyone. Rohini says, "Wait, does Queen Cam have a battle with a side chick of her own?" Oh, are you talking about that? Actually, what are you talking about? Now, the only thing that I can think of is that people were saying that she may have been just a little envious of the way Charles seemed to be making a fuss over Madame Macron. But aside from that, that's the only thing I can think of. But please do tell. I'll try to look out for it. Let's see. Yes, we thank you so much for that. We actually talked about that about a couple weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I shared a photo of him. And you know what? You must be reading my mind, Cynthia, because I was just thinking today as we were watching, and I'm just like, I cannot believe that kid is all grown up. But yeah, as a matter of fact, at the restaurant, I think they had a celebration for his graduation. And wherever they were, he got in the chair and started doing that dance again. So, um, yeah, it's amazing. All of those kids in the video, and he's like the one that everybody remembers the most. But he's still, he looks just the same. I mean, very familiar face at this point. But thank you so much for sharing that with us. And gosh, I wish I could show that photo of him again, but I don't remember what day it was, and I couldn't go right to it. So, but if I could think of something before we're done today, I will. Okay, thank you so much. There's Church Nelly. Hey, Lady Rose, got a split straight down my stomach. You know what? I'm gonna inbox you later. Whee! Yep. You'll sleep a lot in the next couple of days, but you probably know that already. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. And some people are don't like having surgery. At least they give you something for it. Be different if they didn't give you something for it. Um, but yeah, it's days like this when I think how wonderful it could have been, but it just wasn't meant to be because Charles was on some BS, and it makes me sad to say that he was not in love with Diana. Oh gosh, I hate to think of it. I mean, but she was so tactile and so loving and sweet, and in spite of the fact that the royal family was trying to discourage her from being her true self and reaching out to people with love and affection the way she had done pretty much from the beginning. And I guess when they saw Meghan, um, being so American, that it just set them off some kind of way, and they were like, "Yeah, we got to get her out of here." Let's see. Barbara Lane says, "Hello, everyone. Roy Rogers' horse was named." Right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Barbara Lane. That's right. Roy Rogers' horse was named Trigger. Was it Roy Rogers and was it Dale Evans? Didn't they have like a show or something like that? They had like an act or they sang together. But I do remember those two people. I just don't. I guess they did all kind of things. They did movies or something together too. But thank you so much for that. Yeah. So if you guys care to look that up, there was really a horse named Trigger, and that was Roy Rogers' horse. So Trigger was quite famous at one point. Uh, I got to tell a mom's Mabley story. She used to tell this joke where she say, everybody in the South was so nice. They always say people in the South ain't that nice, but don't believe it because mom's hearing ain't so good. But every place I went, people kept saying, "Hey, Trigger." And I guess she thought I don't know. She was wondering why they kept trying to refer to her as a horse or something like that. But uh, oh man, that was another great entertainer. Mom's Mabley. I think I saw that movie of hers, Amazing Grace. Remember that movie, Amazing Grace? Wasn't she running like for public office or something like that? And she threatened to hit somebody in the head with a bowl of potato salad. I'm gonna hit you upside your head with this bowl of potato salad. Okay. And then of course, you know, love this. Love this. I mean, could you imagine before Diana became part of that family? This would have been unheard of. Well, maybe a head of state or something like that could get away with that. Maybe another member of another royal family or something of that effect. But, just like doing a walkabout and such, that would have been unheard of. Yes, the People's Princess and the Queen of Hearts. Now, this is my favorite. I wish I could share this video with you, but I think I would get in trouble. But Dr. Shola even commented about it one day. She said, beautiful. Anyone watching this knows this child feels safe and loved in Diana's warm embrace. This is how a queen should be. What a loss to humanity. And so this kid, I guess he um wanted so desperately to go and embrace Diana and to be embraced by Diana. And so he runs over there and she gives him this big hug. And if you look at the second to the last photo, he just like put his hand like on his chest and falls back into the car because he's so excited and so full of emotion. He just collapses against the car for a split second, and then he turns and runs back into the crowd with everyone else. Love that video. I mean, this kid was just starstruck, absolutely starstruck. And you could see Diana's like looking at him, kind of laughing because of how funny his reaction was. But yeah, he just kind of fell back into the car, and he had this big grin on his face as he runs back into the crowd. So it was amazing. Love that video. Tears for our heroes. That's the other thing that bothers me is this. If I see one more royal wiping those crocodile tears away from their eyes, um, they're playing this. I'm so sensitive and so approachable, so down to earth, and yet you have this awkward situation. Matter of fact, let me share the video with you guys again, just in case there's anyone who hasn't seen this awful exchange that Camilla made very awkward for absolutely no good reason. I mean, it was just so irresponsible on her part, so irresponsible. Um, Let me see. There we go, right there. And even worse, the tabloids feed into it by making it seem like it was just some type of major violation. The people in France, they see the same things coming over the wire like the rest of us. And as I say, the British tabloid media, unfortunately, they become the face of their nation, of that nation. And this is uh, tacky, tacky, tacky. And then, of course, there's the very awkwardness of this moment. I just, I cringe. Again, I'll share this with you from yesterday. There has been a long tradition of the first ladies of the United States where, with the exchange of power, one president is leaving office, a new president is arriving to office. Unfortunately, we have not had a woman president yet, but in that exchange of the house keys, if you will, during the inauguration, the president elect is being sworn in, and there's a team of people at the White House removing everything from the outgoing president and putting everything for the new president in place in the White House. And one of the fine traditions of that day is that the first ladies they do a photo op and they'll walk, and as you see there, they are holding hands. Now with Michelle and Jill, they're probably closer than most first ladies I could imagine, and you can see even when they're doing this interview, they're sitting together like twins, like sisters. This is and let me tell you, as an American, This is why it bothers me so much because I I've seen this my whole life, right? Or most of my life. And there you can see Jill with Madame Macron, and it's just it's good for everybody involved. It's good for everybody involved, for the people of both nations, for that sisterhood, for world peace, you name it. I think is, and even that other first lady, her. Okay, well, with Madame Macron, let me just go to the next one. And then, of course, it brought this back to mind, which immediately, when that happened, the first thing I thought about was the Queen and Michelle. It was the first thing I thought about was First Lady Michelle Obama and Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth and Philip, they were excited to meet the Obamas. Everybody was. I mean, at that time, it was like, I don't know. Obama was just like a global superstar by the time election day came. And then watching him being sworn in and everything, it just felt like the world was the right path for once. And since then, well, we all know that the world has become even weirder. But this is something that is so historic. And what happened? The British tabloid media make it into something very sinister and troubling and awful and disrespectful. And then people wonder why Americans say things like, isn't that why we fought a war? To get away from that type of stuff? To get away from all these protocols and rules? And yeah, yeah. So you can put all of the editors in all of the newsrooms across America to try to turn us into these, Anglophiles. It ain't gonna happen. And even worse, royalists try to turn us into monarchists or royalists. That ain't gonna happen. That is not going to happen. So I'll let that be their problem. I'll let that be their problem. But the rest of the world is moving on. The rest of the world is moving on. There was a very bitter election with George Bush and Bill Clinton. And there's Hillary and Barbara Bush holding hands. Barbara Bush and Nancy Reagan. Again, there was a very bitter election between Bush and Reagan, but there they are holding hands. Why turn it into something nasty? Why turn it into something sinister and awkward and tacky? Yeah, it is. It begs belief. It actually does. Lydia Washington says, Baron, today is Creative Life's birthday as well. Can we celebrate at a? Oh, sure, absolutely. And thank you for the reminder. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So, and even that big buffoon, that orange menace, put his hand on the queen's back. She's smiling. She didn't grimace. So, no wonder she's smiling. And by the way, notice the name there. This is from 2013, 11 years ago, Richard Kay. No wonder she's smiling as Camilla takes center stage at husband. I'm sorry, with the husband she lifted from gloomy introspection, while she soon uh, will she soon be queen, rather, in all but name. And of course, in 2013, we thought that they were going to call her princess consort. She was not supposed to be queen consort. Remember? That was the promise that Charles made before they got married is that, well, we'll never call her queen consort. She will be princess consort. And believe it or not, Richard Kay is the one who wrote this article. It just, and I found this, I forgot I had it, but it just reminds you how they used to write about Camilla before she built all of these alliances and all of these connections with these reporters. Um, she strung all of this together by having these little drinking parties, dinner parties, and trust me and believe what I'm saying. A lot of those tabloid reporters, they spend the night at Clarence House, at Buckingham Palace, Highgrove. They often spend the night with them. And it's just like, what's her name? Victoria Newton said, I was with Charles the night, his last night of being the Prince of Wales before he became king. Of course you were. Charles and Camilla, they entertained those people like they would any out of town guests. And this is why it has gone from this type of reporting to what we have today, where they just cannot kiss her behind hard enough. At Clarence House, meanwhile, a new communication secretary chosen by Charles and approved by Camilla is starting the Sally Osman, whatever, used to work for the BBC. Chief Greg Dyke is the something woman who holds the position. It is likely to lead to a relaxation in the often tense relations that have existed between the prince and the outside world for the past few years. Several men had been under consideration for this crucial role, including former Times editor James Harding. They're taking people from the media and putting them into their communications. They've been doing this for a long time. See that since 2013. Oh, Tom Bradby, thank God he didn't go over there. 2 months. Okay. Anyway, just gives you an example. Raffaella Bottoni, thank you so much for being here. And I hope your brother is well. I believe it's your brother is in the hospital. Is that correct? I hope your brother is well. And thank you again for the super sticker. So, Rishi Sunak is in the doghouse. Sunak bails out before major event, then does ITV interview. Oh my God, Rishi Sunak. I don't like that guy. You know, I was excited for him because I was like, oh wow, they got a brown person for well, prime minister. How cool is that? I mean, he's a Tory, but nobody's perfect. But I thought, this is really cool. This just goes to show progress. Progress. I don't care whether he's of African descent or not. I like to see diversity, right? Um, I remember when we had some Eastern European mayor one time, well, of descent. I mean, he was American born, but I just thought that was so cool. I love to see diversity because it means there's hope in this world. But Rishi Sunak is such a grifter. He really is, and I did not know this, but he actually is a Californian. His property in California. He will ultimately end up in California. He only stuck around because he decided to throw his hat in so that he could one day be prime minister. And they said if he hadn't made it into the parliament, he was going to hightail it back to LA. But it was he is a very what do you call it? Well, He's what is the word I'm looking for? Well, he's very motivated, right? And all for the wrong reasons. All for the wrong reason. Treacherous individual. Doesn't pay taxes like everybody else. I know they had that problem. His wife was actually, she said her permanent residence was outside of the UK. So she didn't have to pay the tax on her income outside of the country, only the income inside of the country, which was legal at the time, but they're just fat cats like everybody else. They're he's no different than say a Donald Trump, except he just doesn't have the mouth to go along with it like Trump does. But yeah, he's an awful person. He should have been in that photo. He should have been in that photo, but he's not because he wanted to go and campaign. And so someone actually made this because as soon as he could get out of there, it was like he hightailed it for the airport. I don't know who made this, but God, that is so funny. That is so funny. I love it. It's as though he could not wait to go. So he's like right there at the reef laying, and he has the reef in one hand and a suitcase in the other. And then I got to get out of here because ITV is waiting for me. And okay, to give you an idea of what a small person he is, not just personality wise, not just character wise, small, but small little man. He is. Maybe he has a Napoleonic complex. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he has a Napoleonic complex. He tries to compensate by being so devious. Like I love this photo of Rishi Sunak where they kind of they wanted to make him seem like he was a much bigger person, that he had a larger stature than he really does. So instead of seeing this is really what they wanted the public to see. Like he is, you know, this big guy that looms over government instead of this little miniature Dotson. And Charles, oh my God, this they should be so embarrassed by this. They should be so embarrassed. What is with this uniform? Did they go to like some costume shop and get that? This is embarrassing. And I hope that one day that they will realize that people are laughing at them. I don't know that any other European royal will have shown up like they are some type of field marshal or something. He's even got that ceremonial baton, like he's directing troops or whatever. And you know what's really interesting is that they shared part of his, I think his great grandfather's diary or great grandfather's diary, where he said that he wanted to go to the front lines, but the royal protection would not allow it for fear that something would happen to the king. So they shared that so that it would seem like he really should be there. Like his role is to be there, not the prime minister, but that he should be there. I mean, after all, really was Churchill that led the war effort, not George the what was it, George the fifth or sixth? It was Churchill. Even though I don't like Churchill, it was Churchill. So what is Charles doing there? They're the only country that brings the government executive and a member of the royal family with them. They're the only government that does that, and they get away with it. They get away with it. Does Charles deserve a chest full of medals? No, no, he doesn't. That's embarrassing. And if he would have just worn a suit and worn some medals, okay, fine. But no. And I think the medals were too much. I think the medals were too much. Tacky. Camilla was tacky. Charles is tacky. And Rebecca English says, standing with 7 presidents, 3 kings, and too many prime ministers to count, Prince William steps up for his most high profile role on the international stage yet. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do to him the same thing that they did to Donald Trump's daughter. What's her name? Ivanka, Melania. What's the daughter's name? Anyway, remember that time she was at some global financial forum, and one of those, it was a couple of people that looked at her. She came up while they were talking, and they just stopped talking and they looked at her like, yes, little girl, little girl, can we help you? Little girl, can we help you? Where your daddy? Can we help you? Oh, is it Ivanka? Is it? Is it Ivanka? Oh, okay. I thought that was Mama, but Ivanka. Really? Yes, Esmeralda. 1,500 medals. I'm sorry, it's 1,005 medals. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even watch it. And there you go. There you go. You have the 2 presidents and the 2 first ladies and no Rishi Sunak. If Rishi Sunak was very serious about being the prime minister, and maybe he doesn't want it, maybe he is ready to go to California. Hey, Black Queen, Ivana. God, where do they get these names from? Now, let's get to the wedding, the society wedding. Crowds gather ahead of the Duke of Westminster's society wedding of the year to Olivia Henson, with Prince William as usher and 400 guests, as local people are treated to free ice cream and 100,000 flowers. So, let me tell you something, guys. If you are, let's say, if you're a fugitive of justice, or let's say you're in the witness protection program, do not be the only Black person. Do not be the only Black person. You see, her image made it to the Daily Mail. Anytime that there is a crowd of people and they want to show how tolerant they are to diversity, they will make sure they will make sure that they highlight that Black person. I remember one time there was a boycott of a public event, and it was one of those, I think it was a Jesse Jackson boycott, and they asked Black people not to go because whatever reason. And when there was a concert at that event, and they were panning the crowd, I promise you, at least half the time, they kept showing this Black couple, making sure that everybody knew. Uh huh. You see there, you can't keep them people away. I'm sure she has been on television. I'm pretty sure that every paper is trending. I well, not trending, but running images of her just to show how diverse things are in this community where the Duke of Westminster was married. So Princess Kate is getting better and would have loved to attend the D-Day event. Okay, these are a little bit out of order. Prince William says, William, the heir to the British throne, was speaking to a veteran at a D-Day anniversary event that is in oh, I'm sorry, in the English port city of Portsmouth. And over here on the right, you can see this article from what day did this come out? Oh, that was June the 1st. Amanda Platel says she's a trooper, but we must not expect too much of Kate on her return. Now, this was before they said she ain't coming back. They have avoided saying Kate for the last, I'm going to say, 48 hours. Instead of mentioning Kate, they keep talking about Harry and Meghan not being at this wedding. Harry and Meghan's not at the wedding. If Harry would have come to the wedding, it would have been awkward. Well, thank God he stayed home. I'm just like, well, whose wedding was it? Was it Harry and Meghan's wedding? Or was it the Duke of Westminster? And honestly, this was the most boring thing ever. I don't know what happened in the church. To be fair, I didn't see the ceremony. But if it was anything like the enthusiasm outside of the wedding, boring. I mean, a big fat nothing burger. I feel so deflated that they have been pushing this thing about this wedding for months, and it was just nothing to it. There was there was nothing exciting about this, and the reason why is because the standard bearer, um, Kate, was not there. Allow me to explain. Charles is wearing the golden umbilical cord. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait, there we go. The golden umbilical cord on the left, top Tampex necklace, and all the colors for, is it Ed to show support? Oh, Mr. Ed. Oh, Edwina. And all the colors for Edwina to show support for Pride. Got it. Got it. So there's a twofer. He could um, dress up for the D Day, and also, actually, it's a threefer. It's a three for one. He can show the symbolic nature of the relationship with Camilla. So um, there you go with that. And the pride colors for Edwina, and of course the D-Day uniform because his great grandfather couldn't go or whatever that was. Was it his great grandfather? Yeah, no, because his grandfather couldn't go. There you go. Thank you, YM Droid. The golden umbilical cord. The golden umbilical cord. That's a good one. Let me see. Where was I? Okay, so I'm going to give credit where credit is due. William, who looks sinister on that right photo, William arrived in the van with everyone else. No big car, nothing flashy. Everybody piled into the van. Everybody piled out of the van. On the way into the church, he didn't even wave. He had his head tucked down. He went in to usher, and that was the end of it. Now, I'm going to say this. Shouldn't he have been at home with his wife? Do you believe that Kate was very happy that they had this society wedding to the likes of which there hasn't been in some time and will probably be the last big wedding for a while? And she couldn't go. And to make sure that she didn't feel bad about it, he went without her. I am being sarcastic when I say that. It seems like if he was really so considerate of his wife and her feelings and her recovery, you went to this big wedding without her and you're smiling and waving at people in this very gleeful mood while your wife is fighting for her life, while she's locked up in one of your several homes with those two Filipino nurses? His words, not mine. Is nobody going to mention that? Well, I'm just really asking for no good reason because you know the tabloids won't point that out. But not only do they make this wedding about Harry and Meghan, they don't even mention Kate. They didn't even mention her. I saw several things. I did not see Kate mentioned in any way whatsoever. Not at all. And I do believe that's why they kept talking about Harry and Meghan all day. All day. It was Harry and Meghan. And for two people who would have overshadowed this event, it's amazing how you're overshadowing the event and they didn't even go. I'm like, give it a rest. Uh-oh, is it kicking in? I hope you alerted the FAA, the Federal Aeronautics and whatever flight people about this trip that you're on. So that way they can clear the airspace around your home so you won't collide with any aircraft. And all I can say is enjoy your flight. So, meet the 25-year-old Duke who is about to inherit a chunk of Scotland. Well, this article is from 2016. Meet the new Duke of Westminster, Hugh Grosvenor, who's on his father's death has instantly inherited a chunk of Scotland, including three mountains. As Gerald Cavendish Grosvenor's only son and heir, the 25-year-old, now 33, I believe, assumes the title and estate of his billionaire dad, the UK's biggest landowner, who died from a suspected heart attack on Tuesday. Remember, this is 2016, age 64. According to the American magazine Forbes Guide to World's Wealthy, the Duke had a fortune of 9.35 billion pounds, making him the 68th richest billionaire in the world and the third richest in the UK. Isn't that something? Uh, Nearly 100,000 acres of Scotland, including three mountains. Isn't that something? So, yeah, one day you're in university or whatever, and then you get the phone call. Um, you just inherited $10 billion. What? Your father's passed away. Oh, what about the $10 billion? But yeah, and I'm sure he would much rather have his father than 10 billion pounds. I mean, he was going to get the money anyway. So, yeah, that's when I first heard about him was back in 2016. They were making a big fuss about how young he was, and right now he's the wealthiest person in Britain under 40. Now, just to put things in perspective, that is Greater London. You see Mayfair and Belgravia, all of that is his. All of that belongs to the Duchy of Westminster. I repeat, Mayfair and Belgravia, all of that you see in highlighted or darkened, that is his territory. Just to give you an idea. Now, those are two of the most exclusive neighborhoods in London. Yeah, those are two of the most exclusive neighborhoods. Well, two of several, including Hyde Park. But Mayfair, Belgravia, most of it is his. Hugh Grosvenor, Duke of Westminster, owns these entire highlighted areas of London, worth 9 billion, dwarfing Buckingham Palace in size and wealth. But he didn't pay a penny of inheritance tax by using trusts. Without inheritance tax, eventually a handful of people own everything. So, same here in the US. There's a lot of people who barely pay any tax, if any. Um, they know how to maneuver around the tax code. Um, and so, why should he be any exception, right? More stolen land. So, let's see. I know it's page 6, but this sounds like the Duke of Westminster doesn't want to be used by William as a stick in his irrational hate for Harry. And Roy Anika is a liar who consciously spread manipulative stories from Kensington Palace. Anyway, Harry had already said no. So, this is the article from page 6. It alleges that Roy Anika is a big liar. Prince Harry declined to attend his posh pal, the Duke of Westminster's wedding to avoid an awkward clash with his brother, Prince William, and on other family members amid boiling family feud. Page 6 can reveal he got a save the date card to wedding next summer. Of course, this is an older article, but then called the Duke of the Duke Hugh Grosvenor personally and said it would be best if he and his wife Meghan didn't come. However, the storm erupted when what does that say? The Sunday Times claimed um, the Sunday Times claimed that Grosvenor chose future King William over Harry to attend his wedding to Olivia Henson next summer to avoid a clash among the warring brothers. But a source told us Harry actually got a save the date card a few months ago, but called Hugh and said it would be too awkward for he and Meghan Markle to attend. So he made his apologies and Hugh understood. William's wife, Kate, as the alleged royals who asked what the skin color Prince Archie would have before his birth. Page 6 has reached out to the Duke of Westminster for comment. Okay. All right. So that was the way they were trying to spin all of this beforehand. So, Duke of Westminster, once dubbed Britain's most eligible bachelor, tied the knot, and Prince William acted as a usher. So, there on the left, you can see the beaming bride and the Duke of Westminster. I am a little underwhelmed by that tiara. It looks like a laurel wreath. I am a little underwhelmed by it. That's all I'll say. Is maybe it's just the light because it was overcast. If there was sunlight, it probably would have looked better. And okay, is it just me or does it look like they're walking the plank? I'm sure, I'm sure that whoever the wedding planners were didn't have anything to do with this. It was probably a last thought from the church or whatever. But that looks like particle board. That looks like particle board that they're walking on. Gosh, that looks bad. A green carpet. If you didn't want to do red, at least a green carpet. But that looks really bad. They should have put a carpet on it. You could see the two by fours beneath it. Oh, that looks really bad. That looks really, really bad. And then there's the shoes. Don't nobody step on my blue suede shoes. Now, some people hated the shoes, but I think it's cute. I think it's really cute. If that's her something borrowed, something blue, what is it? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. If that's her something blue, more power to her. And as you can see, she is giving a nod to Queen Elizabeth with those big square chunky heels, right? Yeah, she's giving a nod to Queen Elizabeth. You know what? I think the one that Kitty had was fuller because Kitty had something like a bridal applique because the rule was that nobody could wear crowns or tiaras or anything of the effect to that wedding but Charles and Camilla. So Kitty had some type of, but it is similar in shape, but Kitty's was fuller. As a matter of fact, I think I have a picture of it coming up. So we'll compare then. Yeah, they literally walked the plank. Now, you know what? All right, I'm looking at the close up of her heels. I'm seeing I don't think that that was carpet though. Maybe it was carpet, but the sides of it, do you see how the side you can see the two by fours? That looks weird. Maybe it was a carpet, but the two by fours showing, that looks really bad. That looks really bad. They should have used red or some other primal color, but it still looks really bad. And it was also very windy. You could see that the back of the gown is cut out. Some people compared it to Meghan's gown with the bow neck collar, but the collar actually has some scallop shapes to it. So I don't think it is has anything in common with Meghan's dress at all. You can see the veil looks very similar, but then again, that is kind of a typical design for um, a gown like that. I mean, the veil would have to be about that length, and then it would have the border and everything. So, for someone with $10 billion, they didn't go all out on this wedding, and that's no problem, man. I think that at a time of financial struggles and stuff, he did himself a huge favor by not having anything too flashy. And then these two old hags right here. Um, what do you think they got busted for? Does anybody know? What do you think they got busted for? Anybody? This looks like Laverne and Shirley. Um, it looks like Laverne and Shirley ran out of the retirement home. 1960 says actually it's up to the photographer to make the photos beautiful, not show undesirable things such as two by fours. All of Meghan and Harry's photos were exquisite. Amen to that. Thank you, 1960. Smoking, nope. Flashing. Drinking. They do look like they're drunkards, but nope. Oh, yes, Lady Rose, you're absolutely right. A protest. They were protesting for the oil thing. You see there? They had a fire. You could see the fire extinguisher on the left side there. See the little red, with the big red canister? They were spraying orange smoke. They mix orange with whatever's in the fire extinguisher because that's the color of the oil protest people. And okay, not somebody's wedding. You know what I'm saying? Not a wedding. And then also in a crowd of people, don't be spraying stuff like that. You could trigger somebody's asthma or something. How dare you do something like that? Why don't you go and chain yourself to something or glue yourself to something but to do something like this, I thought was yeah, it was out of hand. It was uncalled for, especially in a crowd of people. Who knows whether that's some kind of toxin or something? Police protection. Did he pay for it, or is it free for the rich man of England? Oh, I'm sorry, for the richest man of England, rather. Did he have to pay for security? That's a good question. I'm going to say likely no. But yeah, so there you go. That's what I had to say about the society wedding of the year. Now, Kate Middleton may never come back as she was. Oh yeah, she as she was. She may never come back as she was. And then there on the right, oh, I must have did that twice. Amanda Playtell. I knew I had that someplace else. Don't expect too much from Kate. That article came out before they said don't expect her to come back. You guys, this is why I feel that Kate's absence is very serious. I don't know how this happened. I don't know whether William is responsible for it or what, but this was a huge wedding. And that cartel called the British tabloid media, or all of the media over there, they did not even mention Kate today. And just like some of you all, not everybody, but just like some of you all, I cannot believe that I have more concern for Kate than most of the people that should be asking the questions, the media. This was a huge event, and Kate wasn't there. And William has gone on business as usual. Now, they said there was a big announcement coming for 2024. Is this it? That Kate ain't coming back? And you would think that today they would have given an update about her just so that the media would, but they don't have to because the media is not going to ask any questions. Taken March the 4th, the photo that's supposed to be her in the car with her mother. March 10th, that was British Mother's Day, the Franken photo. March 16th, the farmer's market. And then, of course, March the 22nd, that was Renaissance Kate on the bench. Where is Kate Middleton? All the latest drama explained, Harper's Bazaar says. Oh, you guys, this is so much more serious than I think anybody could possibly believe. But I think that I shouldn't say that because I think a lot of people know that it is, but it's surreal because there's not more said about it. Claims that Princess Kate won't return to work are unfair and untrue. Well, tell us where we got it wrong. Tell us where we got that wrong. And even the other day, the Tatler had to what do you call it? They tagged that photo because the photograph was taken and published in November 2023. But that day when there was a I guess a media wide update about Kate being seen out in public and yet nobody took a photo. Nobody has cell phones or mobile phones around when Kate spontaneously appears. Another Kate Middleton sighting, unedited pics, or it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And that was from the LA Times. One of the reasons why they had to have Kate sit on the bench or the AI on the bench because people are starting to ask questions again. People are starting to ask questions again. I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I think I'm just more curious as to how this ends up as opposed to where we are right now. That's what I want to see. I'm just really curious to see how does this make sense later on. Kate dazzles at Palace. I'm sharing this with you because this would have been a Kate day. They would have gone on and on about how Kate looked and so on and so forth, but they didn't have that because Kate wasn't there. And I think, considering that Kate could not go, that William should not have gone. And they could have, you know, I'm not saying that the Sussexes should have dropped everything to go last minute, but it would have just made sense. Willie to stay home with Kate, and Harry and Meghan even just go in their place. Harry could have been one of the ushers, or even Harry by himself. I mean, that's really his friend, not Meghan's. Harry could have gone by himself, get in and get out. But William was being selfish and did not want to give Harry any type of spotlight. So he abandoned his cancer stricken wife and went on to the wedding without her. So he did something very selfish, in my opinion. He goes to the wedding without Kate, and then the media, who are in on whatever this thing is, they go the whole entire day without mentioning Kate. Talk TV, GB News, they avoided Kate like the plague. And all they talked about was Harry and Meghan. There was nothing to talk about. There was nothing to talk about. They've known for quite some time that the Sussexes were not going. But to make sure that nobody thought about Kate, they decided we will just fill in those empty spaces with the Sussexes. I don't know if that worked. I don't know if people were buying it, but I'm just shocked that nobody seems to care. It is shocking that even the most loyal royalists are not asking questions. Yeah, absolutely, Adrian. I did not see Rose. I did not see Rose. Yeah, they're using the Sussexes to distract. That really bothered me too. That really bothered me because I I figured, okay, they talked about it the past couple of days. Here's the day of the wedding, and still they're talking about it like the Sussexes just backed out of it, like Willie did for Constantine's memorial service. I don't know why that was such a talking point. I mean, you could go on and on about D Day, that just happened. It is an election year or season. Rishi Sunak made his gaffe yesterday by not stay or the other day by not staying for the full ceremony. That's something to talk about. But no, instead, it's all Harry and Meghan. If Camilla was still unpopular with the media, because I don't think she's popular with most people, but if the media was still dragging Camilla, they would have been going on and on about how terrible she was to what's her name, Brigitte Macron. But that also was something that was a convenient distraction by using Harry and Meghan. So they I hope that the Sussexes have more money than the Duke of Westminster in the next few years because they generate a lot of profit, a lot of clickbait. as though there's nothing else going on in the world. All of those news agencies and such, they could not stop talking about Harry and Meghan with this wedding. They mentioned very little about the wedding for talking about Harry and Meghan. The Sun, they were supposed to talk about the wedding, but if you look at the thumbnail, Harry and Meghan, not William, not the Grosvenor family or whatever, just Harry and Meghan, because that's the only way to ensure that people are going to watch it. I mean, they're really using them. They are really, really using them. Okay, there you go. I don't know when she posted this. She says, "My foundation is built on him." It sure is. Solid as a rock. To him be the praise and glory. Oh, I think she's talking about, you know, him above, not herself or themselves. But my goodness, it is true. I didn't realize it until I saw this photo. I'm just like, yeah, that is a bleach blonde, bad built butch body. It really is. And look at what I found. I didn't realize I still had this Legally Blonde too, but it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and QAnon. Oh, remember she was saying the thing about the space lasers? She don't say that no more. Join the party of what is it? Resist idols? No, racist idols. There it is, racist idols. Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. Okay, so here's our last word of the day. Sorry, we went a little bit over an hour. Be with someone who chooses you every day, not just when they are in the mood for you. Okay? Be with somebody who chooses you every day and not when they're just in the mood to be with you. That is very important. You don't want to push in on anybody. You want to be there based on, you know, uh, that connection and not anything else. I don't like sometiming people because they sometiming. So we got one more birthday to dance off, and I'm going to say goodnight to the rest of you all because I am done, and I will see you all tomorrow. So let me see here. Oh yeah, it was whose birthday is it? Oh, Creative Life. Okay. All right, Creative Life. Happy birthday to you and many happy returns of the day. And let's do it.
Hello, Ivy
Hello,
here.
Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Nelly's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I okay, thank you all very much. Let me see. I'm going to take a look at a couple of your comments before I go. And otherwise, I am done, you guys. See you tomorrow. Get your sleep on if you're headed to bed, or If you're starting your day, I wish you a very productive and blessed day. Let me see here. Mm, thank you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You are part of this community, and we are um, what is we're part of you. So there you go. That is what this community is for. Not for me. It ain't for me. It is 11:56. It is 11:56 Central Time. Yeah, she's part of that cult. Definitely part of that cult. I am still very frustrated about this, but let me calm down. I did not like the fact that they were using Harry and Meghan to distract from all that other stuff. It was just they had to try to be as creative as possible to build a conversation about that, something that they've known about for quite some time. I'm just like, why? Ugh. And it wasn't even just about clickbait, it was to provide a distraction from Kate not being there. They really ought to ask some questions, you guys, but they're going to get away with it. I don't doubt it. They're going to get away with it. And thank God that Harry and Meghan got out of there. You know, I was very frustrated in the beginning when they first left. I was very frustrated because I was excited to see, um, an American woman of African descent being treated like a princess would be treated, and that you would have the whole, um, I guess, not kind of like a Hallmark movie thing, but just a little rom com, and it really would be like one of those rom coms, right? Like any of those princess movies, and I just thought it would have been so fun and interesting, and then of course I was getting those warm feelings like I had when Diana was there. But now that you know the price of that life and how unbearable it could be, I don't second guess it anymore. It was time to go, so they got out. I no longer second guess it. At first, I was a little bummed out by it, but it wasn't meant for them to stay there. I don't think anybody's meant to be there because um, um, it's not a good life. It's not a good life being in that family. The only people that benefit from it are those at the top, the heir and the whoever the sovereign is. But aside from that, I mean, look at poor Kate. Kate has vanished. Whatever happened to her, it's not a good thing. If it's a divorce, it's not a good thing. There's no scenario where this is good. Yeah, I don't know that I was a Anglophile, right? I was definitely an Anglophile, but I did not think that the family would be around after the queen left. So, yeah, I would say that I was a bit of an Anglophile, and I'm still an Anglophile. I mean, there's a lot of things about England and the culture and everything like that that I get a kick out of. But as for the need for monarchy, I didn't see it that way. And I will recall that conversation I had when I was at Troop in the Color, and we're all like, watching the royal family parade and everything. And this one guy, I told him, I said, when the queen goes, all of this is going to go too. He's like, you think so? I said, yeah, this is unsustainable. And I still think it's unsustainable, but it's probably going to last longer than I thought possible. But yeah, I don't think that I was so into the family. Um, I was into Diana for sure. And then after Diana was gone, I drifted away like everybody else did. And it wasn't until Meghan that I found my way back. Yeah, that's how I found my way back. I think, like everybody else, I was very underwhelmed by. I didn't have anything against them at the time, but I didn't have anything for them. I did not care for Kate and Willie. They did not capture my imagination. There was nothing about either of them that I could identify with. But Harry, his sense of fair play, his hard work, and his approachability, him I could identify with, so much like his mother. And Meghan, being such a dynamic, you know, person that she is, who couldn't identify with her? But the rest of the family, no. I thought the queen was cute. I thought the little stuff with the queen was always cute, but not necessary. I didn't think that my logical mind could not accept the idea of monarchy. And I still think it doesn't make any sense. And as I've said many times as an American, I like the idea that a child could be born in this country, and if they could lie, cheat, and steal enough, they can be president. And that's the system I believe in, is that a meritocracy is always more desirable in my book than the aristocracy. So that is my true feelings about it. Yes, and why was Eugenie alone? Why was Eugenie alone? I didn't understand that one either. It's as though, I thought that this wedding, the reason why I said it was so boring and a big fat nothing burger is because I thought I was going to see a parade of people that I would recognize. But instead, it just seemed like some little provincial town wedding. I, I there was no photos from inside, and obviously everybody was using the same door. So where was the rest of the people? Where were the rich and famous? No Elton John or anything like that. So it was boring. There was, I think that, oh, yeah, it was boring. This was a big nothing. I feel rather let down that they made such a big fuss out of it, only for it to pan out into nothing. This was just a boring event. If those two old ladies hadn't set off that fire extinguisher, I bet you a lot of people would have fell asleep. I'm sure some people were like, at last, some action. Yes, Adrian, no Beckhams. And they'll show up at the opening of an envelope. No Beckhams. And God bless the bride and groom. Maybe they didn't want all that. I didn't think it was possible that anybody could have a wedding that was more boring than Will and Kate. But this is it. This is it. Boring. Absolutely boring. Ooh, Marshar. Okay, Marshar. Maybe people know something about Kate, and maybe they blame Willie, and maybe that's why they ain't want to show up. That's something to think about. Joy of more. Good night. I'm fixing to go. I promise. I'm just there's a couple of things that's bothering me. Where's Kate Middleton? The fact that they tried to drown out any thoughts by talking about Harry and Meghan, and the lack of important people at the wedding. That is another thing that I'm just trying to wrap my brain around. And of course, Camilla and her ignorance. That's another one that gets me. But yeah, the wedding was just for the aristocracy, no celebrity, period. This was the stuck up set, but the media wanted Harry and Meghan for fun. Too bad. Yeah, I guess you're right, Reba Henderson. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just for the aristocrats. Um, but they made it sound like it was such a big deal, and I'm just like, if you're gonna make that much fuss, where's the beef? Where's the beef? This is gonna be the society wedding. You know, uh, mm, yeah, they shouldn't have run Harry and Meghan out of the country. No Beckhams. That is something to think about. And just who was it? Eugenie? Yeah, I think that I don't know if William is wearing makeup or whatever, but there are some photos of him. I guess they probably touch up the photos, but there are some images of him where he really looks horrible. He looks ill or something. Oh yeah, Carmen's Place says they hyped it for clicks. No doubt. I feel rather let down. I'm just like, if you're gonna make such a big deal, you know, at least have some meat to it. Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna finish with this thought. Harry and Meghan have lots going on for 2024. So I can't help but think that this was a huge favor being excluded from this wedding, for whatever means that happened. But Meghan has her lifestyle thing coming. Harry has his polo thing coming. And together they what else was the other thing? The meet me at the lake. So they got a lot of things in the work. And I would rather them to stay home and focus on these important things than going to a society wedding to celebrate a couple of people who, seem like nice people, but money is no option for them. Harry and Meghan have to build their portfolio and their generational wealth. And also, there is the need to make sure that they, what do you call it, that they can afford the security that they need. So I'd rather they just not go anyway. I'm not bummed out by it though, because seeing how it turned out today, I'm like, ugh. But there was a conversation today about um, the guy was kept trying to say that Harry is unhappy. They keep trying to paint this picture, and was it Roy Anika or whoever that was? She's like, people I know seem to believe. I can't believe she said this. She said, but the people I know seem to believe that he's happy. They say he's happy. Not seem to believe, they say he's happy. And she said, look, he has friends. He and this is what she said. She said that he meets up with friends when he comes back to London. They go out to dinner, they have drinks. She said this is not in the papers. You don't see it, but I know it's happening. So I guess what I'll say to you is this: do not get drawn into the despairing comments about Harry. We know that they're not true, right? And we know that those Royal Rhoda people know it's not true. And the fact that the derangers and the bots and everything keeps pushing this narrative about them being grifters and nobody likes them and all that kind of stuff is not true. It is not true. They have a life in California, and it's not. And see, with Harry, it's not like someone from the UK moved to LA and now he has to make friends with her friends. Harry has known so many people for so long. He has made connections with world leaders, um, what do you call it? Hollywood types and such, people that, and it's most importantly, people in the veterans community. People in the veterans community. These are who he's had for friends for years. So the doom and gloom that they're trying to sell, that is only for their deranger constituents. It in no way depicts Harry's life. And sometimes when I look at these comments and I want to just go in there and have a fit, and I'm just like, nah, just leave it alone because they are hateful people and they need to believe this, but it's not rooted in reality. This is something that they're trying to talk into existence, but it in no way reflects Harry and Meghan's life. So they're happy. So do not take all the responsibility. Do not shoulder the burden of trying to tell their story. To whom it is most important, trust me, they know. They know that Harry's happy. Okay. All right. That will do it then. Trust fund babies, as we call them here in the US. Trust fund babies. Uh, what is that? Sussex Spotlight says if you go in, they will delete you. I have tried and my comments never show up. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think about it, but I there's been a couple of times where I've made comments and I don't go in to attack or anything. I say Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals ever. And then just wait a couple of hours to see how much you know, vitriol I have conjured up. Um, and then sometimes I just delete it after I say it, I delete it. I'll go back and delete it. Yeah, he doesn't need to be around that negativity. They got work to do. They got work to do. And I'm old school. Work comes first. Work comes first. Yes, Reba. Absolutely. Harry has friends on those bases. They will always show up for him. Yes, absolutely. Well, they tried to sell this very bleak picture of Harry's life, um, and they'll keep doing that. They'll keep doing it. It's just so tiring that they do this every time there's something. Will they or won't they? This and that, such and such. What is that? I report them all the time. Hardly have any anti-Sussex sites anymore. Oh, that's good to know. Well, you guys, I think that I don't know, maybe tomorrow or the next day or something like that. But I'm gonna do another Where is Kate? I'm gonna wait until something interesting comes up, and I'm gonna do another Where is Kate, and we'll take it from the top and work our way to present day. Yeah, if there's any new interesting theories or anything like that. Oh, what is that, Maurice Brown? I'm so sorry. I'm not looking at everything here. What is that? Those who know don't tell, and those who tell don't know. Hey, I like that. Oh, wait, I still got to go further? All right, I'm looking. Okay, I'm scrolling. This better be good. All right, let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, that would be bliss. That would be bliss. Oh, it would. But it is going to trigger a lot of things. And for this year, I really want them to just focus on their work. I would love to see them in so many different situations, but um, I'd rather they focus on their work. And where are those other children? Where are those other children? Well, William looked a bit traumatized after Constantine's memorial service, right? He looked like he had been on quite a bender, and he looked very um he looked messed up. Sussex Spotlight, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here and being a member of Royal Sussex. Um, yeah, but William was he was acting very strange after the Constantine thing. So, hmm, yeah, I just got a feeling that something is going to come out this this weekend or maybe next week with Kate. I hope so. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. Yeah. When was it the Oprah Winfrey interview when Megan said that she's proud of her work history, of the work that, everything. The fact that she had worked ever since she was like what, a teenager. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I mean, I just, I admire people that work hard. I have a lot of respect for people to work hard. I don't care what kind of work they're doing, but it takes a lot of discipline to keep a job. and especially some jobs more so than others, but a good work ethic, a very good, strong work ethic. And as a baby boomer, I look at how some of the young people nowadays, how they're, uh, when I see a young person that has a very strong work ethic, I am full of praise and compliments. I am so full of praise and compliments. And when I see people that work on holidays, I always say, thank you for working today. Thank you so much for working today. Yes, everything that Megan worked for is showing its results. Let me see. They say that they're keeping him in the dark. Ooh, well, I don't think Harry is that interested in what the family is doing anyway. But that family still carries a lot of weight. And I think that Harry keeping an eye on them is crucial. And I'm pretty sure that there are people within the institution that love and respect Harry and give him updates about what's happening with that family all the time. And I don't mean his cousins, I mean people that work for that institution. I am sure, I am sure that Harry gets updates through back channels. And I'm pretty sure that he talks to his father routinely. I'm pretty sure that he talks to his father routinely. Ever since the diagnosis, I am very certain that they talk. I just got a feeling about that. Okay, you guys, I promised that this was going to be an hour. I can see time is really ticking away here, but I've had a lot on my mind about a few things with this. And I'm just thinking out loud and talking to you all and everything else. I was listening to one of the spaces and someone was like, I don't really care. Because every so often on the spaces on Twitter, they'll do the where is Kate. And it does matter and it is important because there is someone who is potentially a lunatic, a sociopath that's about to sit on that throne. And that person doesn't seem to have much of a conscience. And the thing is, whatever that person is capable of, that the media and his handlers are going to give him all the cover that he needs. And once he becomes sovereign, he'll be virtually untouchable. Pretty much he is now. So you got to keep an eye on someone like that. Oh yeah, Afro Annie's husband had that black eye. That was also a very odd coincidence. That was a very odd coincidence. Hello, Juliet Holder Fowler. You know what? I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna try to find some really interesting things to I don't know, connect some dots this weekend about Kate. Oh, Mm, you know, I get the idea why they love to put the principles first. And the queen had got to the point where I think the queen, and I'm speaking of Queen Elizabeth, of course, Queen Elizabeth was all about being consistent, right? And I'm sure that there was always an air of pettiness where that family is concerned. But Charles, because of his relationship with Camilla, they won't, nobody in the tabloid media is going to say it. But Camilla is just like Rupert Murdoch. Camilla has taken that family into the darkness. She has made that family so trashy. Charles has literally been on this campaign to destroy Princess Diana's memory, her legacy, her name, everything that he can. I mean, it's bad enough that her life was taken away. Now they're trying, well, they have been doing this for a while. They've been doing everything they can to destroy her again, just so that it will justify his relationship with Camilla, whatever that relationship is, just so that Camilla can. And I already showed you guys an example of Arthur Edward spending time with Camilla, and then just out of the blue, he says, Camilla is so much easier to get on with than Princess Diana ever was. Just out of the blue, he says that. And it seems so innocuous from this point of view, but at the same time, it is all part of the long term strategy to create this legacy for Camilla. And they have been doing it with photo ops, and Charles with his mystery cancer. It gave her a chance to reign as queen in her own right. She was the one holding it together, they say. And trust me, when they put her in that English oak box lined with lead and drop her down in that vault, there are going to be people eulogizing and talking about her 24 hours. I hope not, of course. I hope not. But if she goes before Charles, you can be assured that there's going to be around the clock, just like they were doing with Philip, talking about, oh, we didn't know she did this, but one time this happened. And when Charles was sick, she was the one who held it all together. They're building that for her. They've already won the race to the throne. Now it's going to be all about her legacy in death. Yep. And so far, like I said, so far, they've been getting away with it. That's the troubling part. Is so far they have been getting away with it. The only thing that disrupted their plans was Meghan. When Meghan left and took Harry with her, that is why they're so angry. That is why they won't let go. And they still believe that somehow they're going to lure Harry back over there. They still believe it. Every day, somebody like what's his name, Tom Bow Movement, will say something to the effect of Harry but not Meghan. Arthur Edwards. A lot of them. They'll say something about Harry, Harry coming back, Harry being a part of the family, but not Meghan. Meghan is too bright and too intelligent and was asking too many questions. Look, I've had that experience myself where I was in the middle of a situation, and with my very curious mind, I mean, on the one hand, I seem like a complete doofus, and some people get the idea that I'm just not wrapped too tight or I'm not too bright. But I know when something ain't right. And I started asking some questions. And trust me, they never wanted to see me again. But I wasn't doing that to be malicious. I was doing that to protect my friend. That's it. And I'm very like that when it comes to my friends. I cannot pretend like I don't see certain things. And so I was just taking mental notes. I am very that way. Yeah. Okay, you guys. I'm gonna go for real. But I'm got some heavy thinking to do this weekend because I'm trying to figure out what the angle is at this point. The fact that Kate was not mentioned today, I am very disturbed by that. I'm very disturbed by that because it just seems to me like somebody is getting away with something, and every day it just becomes a deeper hole that they're digging. Yeah, and let's hope for the sake of the children that that's all there is to it. Let's hope that it's not anything more sinister than that. Let's hope that there's nothing more sinister than that. Yeah, and right now, I'm sorry, I just got quiet just now, but I'm trying to think about it. I mean, if it's just as simple as a divorce, um, divorce divorce doesn't mean that you have to disappear. They were perfectly willing to accept Charles and Diana separated. They were going to accept that because it would have how do I put this? But I think the fact that there was the things on television is what became too much. Is the fact that they were going at it and that they had both been on television. I think that became a problem. And I really do sympathize with Diana because, Charles has the whole institution on his side. Diana didn't have that. Diana did not have the protection of the institution. She had a few loyal friends and such, but that institution, that is a lot of weight to have against anyone. I don't know that Harry would be able to survive it on his own. It took someone as strong as Meghan to make this possible. He could not have survived it without Meghan. I think that most women in that situation would have collapsed under the weight of it. But that free spirit from California, um, especially someone who has a lot of optimism and a great feeling of self worth. I mean, she knows herself, right? And she has a strong sense of fair play. So I believe um that Megan is giving Harry the room to do what he needs to do, and she's not going to ask him to, say, "Oh, this is this is too much, and think about, letting it go or something like that. So far, she hasn't done that. So far, I don't believe she's done that. Their love for each other is so strong that they're together, they are in it to win it. And they are each other's best fans, greatest fans. With everything else that they feel for each other, they are totally fans of each other. They are best friends and they have each other's back. So I think it's a testament to Meghan's strength that he is dealing with the media in a way that he wanted to do, and along with Meghan and a few other very powerful people, they're just like, get him, go get him, because Harry is taking on some, like a cartel or whatever. I mean, he's taking on some really big people. It's just too bad that his brother is on the wrong side of history. Okay, don't forget to hit the like button, you all. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space that it is. Okay. There we go. And of course, the forget me nots. And of course, Flower. Flower. They call her Flower. Yeah. Juliet, I'm trying to get out of here. And you're pulling me back in now. I'm trying to get out of here. Yes, good night, Sussex Spotlight. Thank you for being here. Okay, okay. Trying to get out of here. Oh man.